Okay, everybody. So this demo is going to be talking about how to create an animated GIF in Photoshop, but we're going to be doing it in kind of the style of TylerSpangler. This is TylerSpangler's art if you want to look him up. And his work is, kind of strange, a little bit playful, very colorful. So this is kind of what we're going for. Something kind of, fun, interesting, and just inspired by his work. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start out by going to create a new file. For this particular file, I would say, the big thing is you want to stay under 72 resolution or at 72 resolution. But I'm going to go to film and video. You can use some of these presets. You can see here it defaults it to pixels. We can always switch it back over here though to inches, and you can see it's 28 by 15. That may be a little bit large. You could shrink that down. You could control that size. It could be vertical, it could be horizontal. Just square it out. But everything else I would kind of just leave the same. So I'm going to keep it as a horizontal piece for now. And we're gonna hit create. Now you are gonna see these title save things pop up. I'm not gonna use these, so we're just gonna go ahead and view and turn off extras for right now. Let's see. You can recheck that and they'll come back, but we don't really need those on. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go and we're gonna look for a background. So something just really simple background. It's kind of your call. I was using clouds or something very like simple, something fairly plain that I can build up some cool images on top of. So I'm just gonna go with this basic desert image. So I'm gonna pull it up, make sure it's large, and I'm gonna go ahead and just drop it in. Now, for some reason, if that doesn't work, you can always bring it. You can go back and just right-click it and save as and save it to your desktop. But right now, what I'm gonna do is use my move tool, which is right here. The hotkey for that is V. I'm just going to move this thing into place. Now, for some reason, my transform controls are not showing up. It is checked up here, which I would advise turning on. However, I'm just going to hit Command T to get these bounding box things, and then I'm just going to drag this out. Feel free if you need to stretch it. You can. You just have to hold down Shift in the newer versions to get it to fit the whole image. So I'm going to do that. I might stretch a little bit, but I'm okay with that. So one of the things we want to refresh here is how to use adjustment layers. So adjustment layers are down in the bottom right of your screen, which is this little yin-yang. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I want to make these colors kind of weird on this, but I only wanted to apply to this particular layer, and I want to be able to undo it just in case I don't like it. So I'm going to go to this yin-yang. I'm going to say hue and saturation. That's going to pop up this properties window up here. What I'm going to do is just slide this around. All right, I like that. That's kind of weird. I kind of just like that vibe there. So I'm going to stay with it. And then I'm also going to check this little thing, which right here, this applies it to the layer below. So I'm going to turn that on. Now this is only going to stay with that particular layer. So next thing, we want to get at least one or two other images. I had been using, things like eyeballs, noses, just strange things. You can feel free to search whatever. I'm going to go with banana. Why? I don't know. Just something to do. You could also look up banana and then type in PNG if you want your background to be cleared. So that way you would get something that, like right here, let's see if this should come in where I won't have to do any trimming. But let's see what it looks like. Yeah, that one came in fine. But say, all right, that one came in okay, but maybe let's get something else. I'll get, I don't know, monkey. Oh, money. Oh, money could work too. Spelling stuff wrong. Here we go. So let's see. All right, I want this monkey right here, just sitting there drinking juice box or whatever he's doing there. So I'm going to take him. Now, for this particular guy, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because I have some background information there. So if you had like a solid background, the tool I would recommend, and I'm just dragging that out. I'm hitting either enter or double clicking to set that. I would recommend using, if it was a solid color, your magic wand. Okay, for this one, because it's got a very kind of random background, there's not like one color in there, I'm going to go with my quick selection. If you have the ability to use your object selection tool, I would use that because that will automatically select your image. You can see right there it automatically selected. I have to do a little bit more trimming. That's a nice new tool in 2020, but I'm just going to use my quick selection. So everybody, for right now, most people could do this. So I'm just going to select kind of the background. I'm trying to avoid over select the monkey. You can see right there it went in, so I'm going to hold down Option and just push that out because we don't want the monkey to be selected. And I'm not going to do like a crazy precise job right now. I'm going to do the best I can, but I'm not going to get too crazy there. So that looks pretty good. And what I'm going to do now is just hit the large delete button, and I'm just going to get rid of that background. And Command D to deselect. So now I have my monkey, I have a banana. You know, what else would I have in there? I don't know. You could pick kind of whatever you want to have animate through there. And then I'm going to say, all right, for maybe the monkey, I want the monkey to be actually black and white. So I'm going to go to the monkey layer. I'm going to create a new adjustment layer. I'm going to go black and white. And I'm just going to go ahead and tag that just to the monkey, so he's the only thing that's black and white. You could do, I think, multiple layers too. So if I wanted to go in and do brightness and contrast, but I wanted the brightness and contrast only to be on the monkey, I could just do that and then push the contrast on just him. Push the brightness on that as well. So that looks pretty good. All right, so I have a couple different images here, you know, kind of looking weird. The other thing I was talking about was making patterns and kind of using patterns to just create some more visual interest. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new layer. And now pattern could be anything. It could be lines, could be circles. So what I would recommend is using just like your basic ellipse tool or basic square tool and just going out on that new layer, and we're going to go to our paint bucket, which is G, paint bucket tool right there. And I'm going to make, let's see, get something different color here. I'll go yellow or green, yellow green. And I'm just going to fill that. If you're going to do circles, it's fine. What I would then do is go and Option click and drag to duplicate that circle, and I'm just going to keep kind of pulling it over there and make my pattern. So you can see here, I'm just kind of pulling this out. I'm not making it perfect, you know, by any means. And you can see here that these layers are all kind of set up where they're, you know, it's duplicating them. So what I would do, a couple things I could do is just hit Command E, which would merge this layer down, and then continue to do that. So you can see here, Command E, and now I'm just merging all those circles. So now these circles, if I turn off that eyeball, are all connected. And then I could easily Option click and drag and make my pattern just by duplicating the lines. And then I would do that same thing again. You can see here, like, it might be an issue where you'd have to maybe like double duplicate a set or something. So, you know, obviously there's ups and downs to everything. So, and then I would have this pattern, and then I would say maybe, I would say maybe from here, I would go and you know, smash these together. Command E. Another way to do this is Shift select all those layers and right click and go to merge layers. So now these are all stuck together. Okay, I'm going to make one more version of this just so you can see how I do it with the other tool. So I'm using my rectangular marquee, and I just put a line up here, and then I'm going to go ahead in and paint. Oops, I need a new layer. I'm going to paint it green, and then deselect, and then I'm going to do that same thing. I'm just going to Option click and drag down. Now, the next part we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this layer, and then we're going to change the color of it and possibly move it, and I'll show you what kind of like the reasoning is for that later. So I'm going to go ahead and smash these down, Command E, just get all those lines together. All right. And so if you're using the lines, for instance, like what I would do here is I'm going to go to my layer, I'm going to right click, I'm going to duplicate that layer, and now I have a second version of it. It's just green, but I'm going to move it. I'm going to just go ahead and shift it real quick. Actually, I'll shift it up. Looks like I might have the same issue as before. And you could also use your arrows, kind of move it in there. And I'm going to go down and I'm going to do an adjustment, hit enter. I'm going to go to a new adjustment layer. I'm going to give hue to saturation. And I'm going to change the color of those bars. We'll make them orange. And I'm going to tag it just to that one layer, not to both. Okay, so there's my lines. And I realize you can't see your image fully, but that's okay right now. We could also maybe go, and I would say, you know, for this, like the monkey and these layers, I would move up maybe. Okay, so maybe the monkey's above, and then the banana, it could be behind, it could be in front. You know, it's really not a big deal. I'll leave it down there. Oops, I don't want it there. Okay. And then go ahead and file save your file. So file save, and I would always save this for now just to your computer going to go desktop, and I'm going to call this Spangler GIF video demo. Okay, hit OK. And then from here, we're going to start animating. So I'm going to go up to Window, I'm going to go to Workspace, and I want to turn on Motion. And what that's going to give us is this thing right here, which is a timeline. We're going to say we want to create a frame animation. So basically how this works is your first frame gets turned on here. You can see it right there. I can make new frames by clicking this button. So right now, everything that's turned on in one is going to be in everything. If I went to frame 1 and I turned off my monkey, you can see this little visual representation down here. The monkey disappears in both. Okay, that's not to say that I can't have that monkey pop up in this image though. So you can pop back up, in frame 2. Other things I could do here would be, okay, in frame 1 I don't have a monkey, or maybe I do have the monkey, but he is, oops, make sure I'm on the right layer. He's going to be over here. And then at frame 2, right, I want that same monkey to just be moved. Now, you can do stuff like this where the monkey will move. One other thing before you get too far is I would shift select and just change my setting here on the time, that little drop down where it says 0 seconds. I would change that to 0.1. And then you could animate cell by cell. So I could go and instead of like having put the monkey over there, I could move them one at a time and say, all right, frame 2 be there, frame 3 be here, frame 4 be here, frame 5, and it's just duplicating that previous cell. One thing that kind of, a little restriction in the program is that I can't, you can kind of see there's my animation so far. I can't rotate, I can't make bigger unless I make a new layer. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second. So right now I just have a really simple monkey moving across the screen, right? The other thing we did was we did those bars and tones. Now, how would I control that? In frame 1, maybe, okay, I want in frame 1 my orange one to be on, my green one to be off. But in frame 2, I want the orange one off, the green one on. Frame 3, vice versa. And I just keep alternating these. So that's an option for you as well. Oops. Put this one on there. All right. Let's see what that looks like. So that'll create just the illusion of, movement of those bars a little bit. You could move those things too. So like here, my orange bars are there. Here I could say, all right, green. I want this to be moved down a little bit. Here, this could be moved up. And I could just keep kind of going and changing everything cell by cell, just to kind of create some interesting visual movements and stuff going on in my animation. So there we go. It's pretty good. All right. Last thing I want to talk about was like how do we use layers in a couple different ways. So I'm going to go here now and I'm going to make a new just kind of end cell thing. So here at the end, the monkey's off screen. But say at this part we wanted to maybe animate the banana. Okay. I'll show you a different way to animate the banana. So in this case, we'll pull the banana up so we can see it a little bit easier. So I'm going to pull it all the way up to the top. And say my banana was starting. I'm going to duplicate this layer too. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate layer. And one thing is like you control anything new from your first layer. So here you can see the banana is visible there at all times. I'm going to go to frame 1. I'm just going to turn off the new banana for now. We're going to save that one for later. So we're just going to be working with that old one. And I'm going to say at cell 7, though, I want that banana to be up here. All right. And then I'm going to make a new cell, and I'm going to say at the end, I want that banana to be here. And now what we could do is something called a tween. You see I'm having a little bit of trouble moving banana down. I'll use my, there we go. So in cell 7, it's up top, and cell 8, it's down below. Now we're not going to see that movement unless we do something. What we're going to do here is we're going to shift select those two cells, and we're going to go here to this tween function. So I turn on tween, and I say, how many frames do I want to add? Maybe 5, right? Hit OK. Now what you're going to see is between 7 and 13, it's going to automatically create those animated parts. So you can see it kind of move through, right? Boom, 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 boom. So that banana is just animating down. So now if I watch this whole thing, it'll go, okay, the banana's just sitting there, and then we have the monkey move across. I could also go back, and I could go into like, cell 1 and be like, all right, I don't want the banana on at this one. We did want it on here. Hopefully that recharges it. And so this is the issue sometimes, is if you don't want the banana on, you you turn it off on cell 1, is it'll undo it on other layers. So it's best to kind of be planned out, like knowing I would normally not just do a tween in the middle, but sometimes I might. I could also keep it off screen. I can just kind of keep it down here and then animate it later. But let's see what this looks like. Boom. All right, now we're gonna get a little bit trickier. Okay, I'm gonna have a banana maybe move across. So this part's a little bit more difficult. So what we're gonna do here is we have this banana, and say we wanted this to rotate, right? In theory, we could just go to this banana and we could just say, okay, rotate. What we're gonna see is in every cell, I'm gonna hit enter. Every cell that banana has rotated, meaning I can't really control my animation that way. So what I would do in this case was I would call this like banana rotate 1. And then I would duplicate this layer into 4 different layers. So, and I would say this one would be banana rotate 2. And then I would go ahead and copy it. And let's see, duplicate layer. I'll make 3, just to kind of keep it simple. So there's banana rotate 3. Okay, so what's going to happen here is we're going to go to cell 1 now. And on this one, we're just going to turn them all off. Okay, we don't want that banana on screen at all yet. Okay, but on 1, we are going to use banana rotate 1. And we want that one to be, whoops. I want banana 1 to be up here, maybe off screen or coming in. Okay, and then on 2, we're going to say, all right, we don't want 1 to be on. We want banana rotate 2 to be on. Now, we're going to rotate it, though. So I'm going to go to that, make sure I'm selected on that layer. I'm going to rotate it slightly. And then good. Okay, go to 3. Double click, hit enter. Go to 3, go to banana rotate 3, and now I want to go and I want to rotate this one more. You can see here it's just kind of changing over time. And then now I'm going to go back to cell 1, but I'm going to move the placement of it. So I'm using, not only am I using, not only am I using the cell function, and showing 1 layer at a time, but I'm also moving the banana and then I'm having it rotate. So the illusion here would be then that the banana is rotating in time, right? And that's kind of what we're going for here. And then I would go, all right, that was the last one on, so now I'm going back here. I would just move this one further. Now this will let you, it'll let you advance it. It just will not let you rotate because it'll change those things that's going on. So like here, for instance, okay, now I'm going to go. I'll put this one down off the screen, kind of almost off screen. And so that'll just be on screen for a second. Let's see what that looks like. So that banana is going to rotate through, one's going to drop down. And maybe I don't want, like there, I don't want that one just hanging out on the corner there. So here I just go and turn it off, right? Here, go and turn it off. So you just kind of need to know, like, what am I trying to do here? What do I want to have happen? What do I want to be visible in each cell? Okay, and because we're doing this stuff with TylerSpangler stuff, it's weird, and that's okay. So, one thing I noticed that was my bars kind of got turned off. So I'm going to go back. I'm just going to alternate those. Okay, and I can also move those, right? Just like I can move or alternate the, circles if I had them. Another thing you could do is if this line is too distracting, you want to see through it a little bit, you could go to those layers and maybe change the opacity so you make it somewhat see-through. You could even do a layer style to it. So maybe I was like, all right, I want to do color dodge. Okay, and then like this particular layer, this one has different setting. Let's say, okay, with this one I'm going to do vivid light. All right, let's see what this looks like. Kind of random, kind of cool. Now, other things you could do with this, you could do filters to layers. And I think with filters, you would have to duplicate layers. But that's something else to play around with and see what you can do. So for now, that's it. Good luck trying to make your animation.